Good afternoon, steamit.com. We're back for another edition with another, well, no, the same naughty car. A naughty car, this Suzuki. Woohoo! There we go. Turn the camera around a bit. Turn the steering wheel around, put that straight. There you go, Suzuki, this Liana, my friend's Liana, that I'm doing under my Voluteerist Mechanics program. Now, this one was doing the EGR valve, and today's episode will be about letting problems develop, because in this particular car, as you can see, there is no engine management light coming on. But yet you try to drive this, and you'll have a bad time, because it keeps cutting out at the lights and all the rest. So I first suspected the coil packs. No, I wrote that one off for now. I may go back to that, but I'm pretty sure I found the fault now anyway. So I went off the trail of the coil packs and then went to the EGR valve, because I'd read about this car having big problems with EGR valves. I since then bought let me take you over here, a blanking plate for the EGR system. I'll finish that sentence off. For the EGR system, I've blanked the system off and it made jack shit difference. So my fault, I've gone down the wrong line there, but without an engine management light or any clues, you kind of you're doing it trial and error anyway. So there you go, this is backyard mechanics, do you know what I mean? So we've got to let things develop, and things have developed, which is good. So yeah, I've put this plate in, made no difference. I've took that plate out of the EGR valve now, because there's no point in restricting the EGR valve if there's nothing wrong with it. So there we go. Right, anyway, end of the EGR valve problem. So back to this. This car, whether it will do it on camera now, will cut out. In fact, if I give it a blip, it might do it. It'll start cutting out and burbling. Now, while it did that, it brought up another engine management light, which is fantastic. That's what I was waiting for, because now I've got a clue to go on. I don't have to start shooting in the dark. So what I've done, I've plugged my OB2 code reader in, which I showed you last time. And I would show you again, but I've already plugged it in. It's underneath the steering wheel, and if I disconnect it now, it will fuck everything up. So let me get my phone on the go, and I'll plug into OB2 checker. Let's get rid of these windows. Right, okay, my phone. There we go. So I've got these two apps here. When the camera decides to focus, there we go. OB2 check and check engine. They're the two that you want. So we'll click on that and open this up. Now with everything plugged in, the car. Oh, by the way, you need to switch your Wi-Fi onto the OB2, because it connects through its own Wi-Fi. Okay, or Bluetooth, either way. Yeah, well there we go, she's cutting out. You see? That's what this car's doing. Goes down to 500 RPM and nearly cuts out. And it throws up an engine management light. Back to this anyway. So I'm on OB2, and this is like, it shows you your vacuum pressure and all sorts of stuff in your car. They're really useful. It's a free app. Like I say, the code reader's £10. So pick one up off eBay, wherever you want, and get yourself a code reader, because every car has got an ECU in it, at least one. So you need to be able to plug in, find your codes, at least present your codes to the garage and give them a clue. Yeah, but anyway, but this is about doing it yourself. So anyway, it's for all new codes, and as you can see, here is the problem. Closed loop due to insufficient temperature. Oh no, that was my old code. That was just an old code. Here we go. This is the other code it's brought up. Closed loop using O2 sensor for fuel mix. Yes, O2 sensors. Now this is something that I just need to get the testing kit for it. You can get a testing kit that will test out what's called a lambda sensor, and it sits on your exhaust. It sits in your exhaust, reads the exhaust gases, and then tells the engine all sorts of data about how much fuel it should be using and should be injecting into the engine to keep it running. And with this playing up, it puts it onto a high content, a rich content fuel mixture. So it floods your engine basically with fuel. to stop it cutting out, because it thinks that without the lambda sensor running, the car just goes, right, everything's the worst kind of parameters going, so we'll give it the beans and we'll get you home, kind of thing. Okay, so that's what that caused, and that's what this kind of means. I've gone onto the internet and typed in, because it's a little bit like reading hieroglyphs sometimes when you read codes. So don't just think because you've got an O2 code reader, an OB2 code reader in this app, don't think that, you know, you're going to master all the problems, because fucking hell, they can lead you. Even these can lead you down the garden path. So yeah, it's so what you've got to do is, this one's come up with open loop to insufficient due to insufficient temperature, and closed loop using O2 sensor for fuel mix. Right. So take those two sentences and type them into your search engine. Yeah, because millions of people and lots of helpful mechanics like myself have put this stuff online. Yeah. No, I'll turn you to me to give you a different view. They've put this stuff online, and all these codes online and everything like that, so you can find all these codes and you can find all the and trace the fault through that, through other people's experiences. Very helpful, very helpful. Every mechanic uses it. No mechanic knows everything. It's impossible to. There's that many cars and that many different sensors and things that can go wrong on them now, that you just need a huge database, and this is it. This is your huge database, and it's free, open source for everyone to use. And if you're getting charged £50 every time, at least every time someone plugs in one of these devices to read your car's ECU, then it's probably worthwhile you spending a tenner to get in to get a cheap one yourself, to give yourself a clue, because a lot of the problems with electrical faults and engine management faults are basic. Yeah, are the basic first level faults. They've spent millions on these cars and the brains towards them, so most of it's shit off. The sensors that are constantly in use are the ones that are going to go faulty, and they're the ones that are easiest to find, easiest to get at, and easiest to change. And if you can do it yourself and learn how to use it yourself, then you'll save yourself a ton of money, which is all good to everyone, because that's what we all want. Right, so yeah, so there you go. There's the OB2. That's kind of how you check it. You plug it in under your stick. Every car's got its own OB2 connection. Sorry, its own ECU socket. Some are in the glove box. Some are on, this one's under the steering wheel. Some are on the centre console where your handbrake are. All sorts of places. Type that into your search engine. Find out where your ECU connector is. Yeah, spend £10. Buy an OB2. Save yourself some cash. These are really easy to use, this app. It's so easy to use. Hook it up to your Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth. Yeah, you'll find it. I hook mine up to the Wi-Fi because it seems to work better. And it says OB2 Wi-Fi. Hook it up. There you go. It registers it notices your car, and then it starts reading all the parameters. And even if you want to find out like stuff about your turbo, you can ride along and check what's happening to your car as in situ as you go along. So that's quite handy, to read what your car's doing as you're driving under different circumstances. So that's cool. But like I say, just a super handy tool. You should have one. If you've got a car, get yourself one. Anything else to tell you today? I'm trying to think if there's any more useful tips I can give you. Whilst we're in, oh, I'll tell you what, here's a handy little thing you can buy as well. It's only about £30 or £40. One of these bad boys. It's a jack pack. It's a jack pack, Jack. There you are, get yourself a jack pack. Very cool. Gets you out of the problem. Look, it's got a little USB thing. Got a light to it. You take it camping, all that kind of stuff. Lots of uses, very versatile. But yeah, good to have in the back of your car, because if your battery fails on you, then you don't have to flag someone down in the middle of the night and all the rest of it. You've got your own little cables there and everything to hook up, so there you are, keep you safe and all the rest of it. If you ever break down in the middle of the night on an old shit scary country road. Right, I think I'm gonna leave it there. Yes, yeah, I've done the OB2 with the O2 sensor is bolted through the exhaust. I don't know whether I've said that already, I may have. That's what this is flagged up. It's flagged up an O2 sensor. that's the problem with it. That seems to be the problem with this car. It's definitely going to be my next port of call. I'm going to... You can heat OB2 sensors up. If you've got a blowtorch, you can heat the ends of them up. You can take them out of the exhaust. Let me show you... In fact, let me show you. Before we go, I might as well show you the OB2... sorry, show you the exhaust, the lambda sensor. This is... Sorry about the shaky camera. Yeah, you can look at my cup of tea. There you go. You can read my cup of tea. There you are. Did you like that? That cup is ace. Right, anyway. In fact, I'm going to have a drink of that tea actually. Instead of slurp, it's going cold. Never start a job without a cup of tea. Never ever start a job without a cup of tea. Right, okay. EGR valve. This is the part that you blank off. Obviously I was going on about this sensor solenoid here that runs off the pressure difference. That is, I think it's is it a DPF? A DPF sensor. Differential pressure, or DPR, differential pressure regulator, one or the other anyway. But yeah, that was a bit of a red herring for me. So anyway, you know what it is, you know where it runs off, you can see that in the last video. That led me to believe the EGR valve was faulty, which is this one. I've put the blanking plate, what you do, you undo those two bolts there, take this off. You have to actually take these two out as well, so that's flexible. And you can push that out of the way, take these two bolts out, draw this off, slot the plate in, fit that back on, bolt it all back up, job's a good one. You've blanked off your EGR valve. It takes 10 minutes, so there you go. But that's only on a Suzuki Liana. Most cars you're not as lucky. The EGR valve will be somewhere buried down there, so you know, sometimes it's an easy job, sometimes it's not. You know, every now and then you get lucky, and I did. So anyway, it's not that. That's your EGR valve. Right, that's what I was saying. Anyway, back to the lambda sensor. This one here. This, you'll always have a green, most of the time you'll have a green plug here, which you'll unclip, and there'll be two halves. You'll just separate it, but I won't do that now. This lead, follow this lead right down, and it goes to your exhaust down there, which has got, I won't say that's a catalytic converter. It's quite a big bulky downpipe down there, so it may be. But anyway, lambda sensor is this one here that goes into your exhaust. Now you're going to need a 22mm spanner for that, and they are tight. So be careful of your radiator and hitting it with your spanner or your socket, whatever. If you've got a new one, then just chop the lead off and use a big deep socket. You can get special lambda sensor sockets, because some of these are so hard to take out. I'd recommend myself either warming the car up and then splashing the exhaust around there with cold water, which will like cause a shrinking effect, and it sometimes loosens the rust off between the threads on this and the threads on the exhaust. That can help. Or the opposite way around, when the car's cold, if you've got a gas gun, a heat gun, which you can buy from Halfords now for a tenner, you can warm around the lambda sensor. Don't warm the lambda sensor, because the idea is you're warming the metal around the threads, and the idea is you do it quick and you get some heat on it, and then you put your spanner on and undo it while there's heat on it. That sometimes helps, but you shouldn't need to. A big spanner there, there's loads of room on this car, so yeah, I'll take this shield off here, I'll take this exhaust heat shield off, I'll get my spanner on there, and I'll take this lambda sensor off, replace it, and this engine, hopefully then, fingers crossed, will run fine und dandy. Yeah, I'm hoping. Yeah, there we go. So that's yeah, lambda sensors, EGR valves covered. I think we've done done enough for today. I'll see you later. My next video is going to cover separating the systems in cars and vehicles, because to fix a problem, it's good to be able to. It's good to know how to differentiate between the different systems in this car, because as you can see, to someone that don't know, that is just a jumble of pipes, wires, springs, things that can chop your fingers off and burn you and all sorts, and it is. if you don't know what you're doing. That's exactly what it is. But I'll teach you that all this is part of your brake system, and that is your ABS unit that controls your ABS. That's the thing that makes your pedal pulse when you slap your brakes down in the snow, and you get that pulsing feeling on your foot brake. This is what does it. This is the motor inside it that pumps the fluid on and off on your brakes. And I'll teach you how ABS brakes work, because that's quite a clever idea. But yeah, I'll teach you that this is part of your braking system, and so is this here, obviously, because this is all connected to it. And I'll show you how to make these pipes, flare them up. Yeah, and we'll separate all the systems on the car. And this is your gear system. This is your gear levers here. You know, gearbox, gear levers. Gear levers, follow it back. You know, if you've ever got problems with that kind of stuff. Electrical system. The electrical system is all one. It's like a living creature. These things are. They're like living creatures. They've got a heart. They've got electrics that keep them buzzing and keep them going. They need to breathe. The air filter, it needs clean air. Yeah, it needs clean air, clean fuel. The oils, its substance. You know, all that kind of stuff. So treat it like a beast, because they're beasts, and they're wonderful things, engines are. I'll go in more detail to how these things actually, the wonderful way these things work, because they boggle the mind. They really do, when you actually think about what's going on inside this engine. But anyway, there we go, that's enough from me. I'm waffling on now, I'm getting carried away. I do love these things. Yeah, right, leave it there. See you later, Steam it. Have a good one. The weekend's coming. See you later.